Well, g'day guys, and welcome to part 2 of the Ferris rebuild, resurrection, restoration, whatever we're going to call it. First up, I've cleaned those off a little bit, so now it's soaking in some hot water. I'll take the speaker off and try and get it a little bit nicer on the case. The same with the back. Remove some of this rubbish that's that's holding us. We'll have to repaint the inside of this, the black, and I'm not real sure yet how I'm going to do the grill because it's a black background in here with the chrome on the front. I'm thinking of painting it all black and then wiping with acetone or something like that to bring out the chrome finish on it. But that may not happen yet. Not sure. This, well, the next thing we've got to do with this is actually take the board out, the aerial off. Now, I've decided with the bottom contacts, I don't have the cradle for this. Well, we'll never have the cradle for this. I only want this as a restored unit as a radio. So I'm going to take all the connections to the bottom sockets there, or connectors. Going to take them off, eliminate all this wiring, and just simplify the whole thing so that I'm not sure. I think the dial lamp may only work on the car. I'm not real sure, but we might put in an extra switch for the dial lamp. We may not. So that's what I got to do. Fix the circuit board up here. So I'll be recording little bits and pieces as I pull this apart. I don't want to bore you with cap replacements. We'll clean the board up. We'll replace the electrodes. Yeah, I'll show you what I've replaced, but you guys know how to do the electrodes anyway. But I'll show you what they are, where they are. All right, so that's where I'm up to in this part 2 of the Ferris car radio, and we'll bring in the circuit and we'll have a look at it as well. Okay, let's get on with it. Yeah, I think we're going to need another speaker, you know. I'm certainly not going to rebuild that one. Right, here's more of this rubbish in here. Going to soak this and see, can we, get all this to come off. And those little fellas, the little fly nuts, you probably saw me unscrewing them. That's normally how I get them out. A lot of people try and just pull them off or bend them up. They're very difficult sometimes. So the trick is, most of the time, they'll just unscrew. Just get the pliers on them, unscrew them. Okay, so here we have a little rubber grommet that sits on there. We'll preserve him, and a little bit of foam rubber, I'd say against the circuit board or something. That's for the aerial, I think, up the top there. Right, and the rest of it, I think, is pretty well ready to go and soak in my wife's basin. I just won't say too much about it, and hopefully she doesn't discover it. Okay, let's do that. Now with this, guys, one of the first things I want to take off here is the rod antenna, which will be in here. Screws are rusty. I don't know what's inside it. It didn't seem to be performing, even though it was connected up, well, where we thought it was connected. But anyway, I'm going to write down where the wires come from out of the rod antenna so that we can trace back through and see what's what with them. I will have to mark the wires somehow as to just so we know what goes where. And then I'll try and get the board out, which then we can lift the tuning capacitor out. Okay, so that's where we're starting. And if we have a look at the wires, you can see what I mean. These very thin fellas here. Now we may put different wires out of here. We may rejoin some other wires and bring them out. These fellas are so thin and corroded. It's yeah, a bit of a trick to get them to solder back in there for us. Tuning gang, well, that's got to be cleaned up. It's yeah, but I want the whole chassis so that we can clean it. We'll probably give it a coat of paint, and yeah, I don't know what I'll do about these fellas yet. Okay, let's get into and pull this fella off. Okay, well, we've marked these out. I think we're pretty right. Depends on what's wrong in here. There's a 68 picofarad there that's broken. We're going to have to replace him. So let's get the antenna out of the road and have a look inside him and see what we need to do on the inside of it. See, has he suffered any damage? Now these are these little clips on either side that hold it in. And I'm saying all this for you fellas out there that haven't had one of these before or haven't seen one. Now, this is a model 291, by the way. It's a chassis 291. So there we go. There's the mystery solved. And the actual model is an M274, okay? So, yeah, and it's a Mark II. And we've got to clean that up yet. Rightio. There we go. There's our antenna off. There's obviously a, it looks like a trim cap there, I would say, to tune this. But at least that gets it away, and I'll be able to undo the circuit board, well, somehow, and lift him out. So, yeah, there's a screw here that that's actually holding a ground point, and there's a couple of other little screws. So we'll come back to that. Now, I thought while we're doing this, we'll have a quick look at the aerial. This is just to see whether things are going to be a lot worse than expected inside here. And they're very, very tight and very rusty, and doesn't really want to come out. And basically he's almost rusted away, sort of not holding any thread on there. I know I should be using a spudger for this. Okay, there he is. He's popped up. Okay, got that one out. One to go. I think we'll have to heat him slightly with the soldering on and get him to move that way. He is solid. There's only one. Righto, we're going to have to melt him out, I think. There he comes. It's the only way of getting him out. No, he's sitting on the other side. Okay. Coming out, and Here we go. Okay, we've got the rod off our foam rubber. That's what's inside. Okay, tip this fella over, and yeah, there he is. There's our trimmer cap. Our wiring's been, actually it's been tangled up a bit when this was put together. It's been crushed there. Not that that will make too much difference at the moment. Okay, now we have broken end there, I can see. Don't know where he goes to. Is there another end there? Doesn't actually look like it. I don't think that's a broken end. I think that's a join that wires are twisted together. These two coils on either end there are twisted. Now, I'll probably put this under the microscope, look into it further. We've got a little ferrite bead there. This fella is obviously ground, which is the pink. The other ones are actually, well, I've got colours on them so I can see them, but I'll put all this underneath the Maggie lamp. Looks like our tuning cap, our trimmer, is held in by two pegs that have been melted over. So yeah, I won't take him out. I'll disconnect all this. Now here, I think our wiring is fairly straightforward. But anyway, there we are. It doesn't look too bad. It's actually quite good. But we've got to get everything out to clean the whole thing up. New piece of foam, and yeah, go from there. Righto, well, that's the job ahead of us. I will work on this, clean it all up, and yeah, I'll show you before it goes together. Obviously, we need more screws. These are just rusted to pieces. And then I will remove the board out of this now that we can get to it. Righto, we'll take out the screws that hold the three switches in. Now I'll be taking these switches out of the board and cleaning them and everything. So there was no need to panic in the first place about cleaning them properly because they will all be coming out. And oh, a little bit tight. Here we go. Now, what we've got to release is the actual tuning gang because it's actually wired with that wire there to the circuit board. This one here is also wired to the circuit board with a little bit of braid. They got braid on them, and this one here is the same. So I don't know whether you guys can see that. I'll try and get the light on it, but there's yeah, little bits of braid. So we're going to try and release them with the solder wick and get in there. And also here, there's braid going to the circuit board for our ground. I was thinking that this actually didn't have a ground because this wasn't bolted to the bottom of the chassis, but not the case. It does have a ground. So yeah, So we've just got to release those, and then this should all, well, come out separately. But in actual fact, to get it apart, I don't think we need to unsolder it to just get the board out. We're getting there. Antenna coil that goes up to our external antenna. This fella here, need to release him. And I'll probably release him off his tag strip because I want to keep that on for testing. Okay, what else have we got here? Hey guys, now we're cooking. Now we can get some of these out. Our dial lamps are only pushed into rubber grommets, so that's one out there. And well, there is only on one side. So here we go. How's that? Now I'm going to work out what's what here and bypass some of the wiring. As I said, I don't need this working. It will never work again. I need this totally stripped to clean the whole thing up. So yeah, I'll work out what I don't need here and bridge what we do need so that this is not part of it. Well guys, we've stripped it down a bit now. So there's our board, speaker, the volume pod, battery, tuning, aerial, and that's it. We've got to take the tuning gang off, as I said, but makes this pretty easy, very less uncomplicated to what it was. Removed all these. As I said, I will be keeping this radio, and this will be a full restore as a portable radio, not as a car radio. So there we go. All I've got to do now is drill these out, drill the aerial socket out. I still want it left in for an external aerial. I certainly want that. But this is a no-go. And of course they're pop rivets, so we'll have to remove those. I'm thinking maybe I'll see how this cleans up, but maybe put it in the media blaster to just freshen it up, repaint it, and we'll get this out, and we've got to do something with this little mechanism. It's fairly tight, a lot tighter than what it should be. So quite a nice little mechanism, that, the way it works. All right, next up, we'll drill some stuff out of this, and then I will be removing the tuning gang and these switches. We've got to work on these and make sure they're clean and working properly. Reinstall them, clean the board, do the caps. Now we're getting this down fairly well, getting down to the circuit board. And now I've got to remove the switches, and then we're going to clean this in a bath of methylated spirits. I was going to do alcohol, but the metho will remove some of the gunk a little bit better, and will certainly dry out nicely. So after all that's done, the board's cleaned up, we'll recap. So there's There's only six or seven caps. I've taken the heat sinks off the output transistors. They're look a little bit worse for wear as far as a little bit of corrosion there, but they do work. We've had them working, so there shouldn't be any problems there. We'll also check the base of the transistors, not the bases in base, but the bottom of the transistors, to make sure there's no corrosion happening on any of them. Up here, looks like there's been a little bit of corrosion happening, although it doesn't look too bad. And yeah, as I said, the switches are next. So we're going to take these out, put them on the bench, check them all, straighten them, lubricate them. And yes, it's not much trouble to take them out. Just a little bit of our solder wick and just remove the whole block. Shouldn't be too bad, he says, unknowingly. All right. There's the switches there. Okay. The heat sinks, yeah, they were a bit grotty. The poor old volume pot needs a little bit of cleaning up. But I'm sure with a bit of TLC, we'll pull him apart. We'll make sure everything's clean inside. And yeah, do that. And of course, the other one we've got to do is the tuning assembly. Okay, let's remove these. So this is how it came out of our media blaster. Certainly a little bit different to how it was. The chassis actually come up quite sparkly. Now we've got to blacken the edge, the bottom, and the side. So that will be done with black matte paint. And then we've got to sort of work on the top a bit. Now the back come up not too bad. Still a bit of polishing here, but yeah, the corrosion has gone into the chrome a little bit, so a little bit rough, and yeah, pretty hard to clean up this one. The back, inside the back, not too bad because we don't see this. We see this, and I'll see what else I can do with it. But yeah, not extremely happy with it. But anyway, the front hasn't come up too bad so far. So we've taken the paint off behind the Ferris writing there. So I'm going to blacken in along there and then expose the lettering along the Ferris. The rest of it, I don't know. I don't think I will blacken the back of this. It It looks too good as chrome, actually. Inside, yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. And there's our logo. Okay, portable car radio. So, yeah, I think that'll look pretty nice actually when the set's done. There's a couple of little pulleys in here. They were both totally utterly seized, and yeah, they're going quite okay now. So yeah, not much else to do on this except yeah, painting and then putting. I'm going to put the connectors back in for the car cradle. That will be going back in there, but it just won't be wired in. Now I'll just give you a look at those, how they come up. There we go. They come up pretty well. The inside. And underneath. So that will look quite nice on the underneath. Certainly going to put it back in. The aerial socket, he came up well too. So I've got to find a bayonet fitting. Now, I've probably had them over the years and thrown them out. Any of you guys know what actually, what bayonet fitting fits these? I thought a 6-volt lamp base may fit in. It's just standard bayonet, but no, this is a smaller diameter. So if anyone can shed a light on that, because I still want to use this as an external aerial on this baby for doing a bit of night DXing and stuff like that. It's yeah, I reckon this will perform really, really good when it's all finished. Now, as you just saw, we just did the pot, the 10K pot, and now it's time to clean our tuning gang up. So first of all, remove the 2 screws out of the little aerial trimmer, take him off. Take our clip off the back of the shaft and remove the shaft, and then undo the screws, I'm guessing, and we can get to the tuning gang itself. Okay, so first of all, we'll the screws out of here. There we go. There's our little trimmer cap. Now this is the trimmer for the external aerial. We'll probably check him and make sure he's okay before we put him back together. Now, take our clip off the back, like so, and we should be able to remove by unscrewing, I think. Yep, there we go. Okay, so we'll clean the shaft up, and now let's undo our screws. Okay, there we go. So we can wash him, get him cleaned up. I use dishwashing liquid and put him in the sink. The same with all our screws. Now, the screws, yeah, they're a little bit worse for wear, but they're not too bad. Oh, he's very tight. Yeah, it's no wonder the whole thing was tight. Now, I don't think I'll take this little gear off and the collar. There's no need to take that off. I suspect we'll be able to clean most of this stuff off. First of all, a little bit of WD in amongst the bearing ends and get him working a little bit better. Now, up the top there, he's also touching somewhere, which I'm guessing is up in this area here where there's been corrosion. So we've just got to do this and make sure that he's not touching anywhere. In fact, before we go any further, we'll just have a look, because the radio seemed to be doing that. It seemed to be telling me that there was a short there. So and I've just got these extensions on here, just makes it easier. Okay, now, first of all, looks like the culprit. No, he's fine. Okay, we'll try the next one. That was just me touching. Which will be the middle one, will be the oscillator. No, he's fine. And this fella. No, not too bad. All good. So it'll be even better when it's cleaned up. All right. That's good. Let's try and get him working a little bit better. I'll keep you in the loop with this one, but very shortly I'll be calling it a day and going inside. Okay, and a little bit down in there on that end. And it's, yeah, that's made the world of difference. Okay, now I'll be putting this fella in with the other ones in the tub and getting the grease and grime off it, and then we will work on cleaning this area up. It doesn't have to be super clean, but the blades themselves, the veins themselves, we'll probably put a bit here, and we can actually get down in there like so. Clean him out. Now this is not my wife's toothbrush either. This is a workshop one. I don't like using hers. It doesn't do the job well enough. Okay, there we go. That certainly makes a difference to the shaft. A little bit of lubrication. We'll also put some moly grease on this fella, some plastic grease on these gears when they go in. I'll show you that anyway. Right, okay guys, let's go and clean this up and get this one done. And we'll come back and start on the next few items. We will check that fella as well. Okay, it looks pretty good. A little bit better than what it was. I think that'll work well. Okay, we'll give him a wash out, and then we'll put a little bit of grease on the bearings. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that'll work well. Okay, we've got some very light grease that we'll put on this fella. And we'll just try and get him right around actually. And what I do, way too much. I'm talking too much. What I do is I put the grease in here and then I heat it slightly so the grease runs in around the rollers. Otherwise, you can't get at the back rollers. Okay, so we'll just put some grease in there, and if we can pack a little bit into here. And once again, if I heat him a little bit, the grease will run in. We don't need to heat it too much. Right, let's do that. But we've got to be careful on the other end because we have a nylon gear there. Okay. Grease has gone in there. That's quite warm. And the grease is running in there nicely. Okay, clean up the excess. That's good. We'll put that assembly together. Okay, the Pt2 capacitor, which is on our aerial line, or the trimmer cap, if you want to call him that. He's been underwater. All this has been in water, so I'm certainly going to inspect this, have a look before we put it all back together, and clean if necessary. Okay, so we'll just take the screw out, and we'll all see together what's inside these little things. And basically, it's only 2 plates. Now, is that little nut going to push out? Nope, he stays in there. Right, now to get this out, we'll probably have to remove the solder, remove this off them, and yeah, just remove the plates up. I want this, as I said earlier, I want this to work, so we're going to strip him down and yeah, and do something with him. Now I'm just going to I'm just backing off my audio a bit. I found out it's a little bit heavy, and there's been a few people say it's out of sync, but I do have 100 millisecond delay on my audio, so it should be spot on. But anyway, let me know if you're having problems with lip sync, because I don't want that. Okay, let's get some solder off this fella and get him apart. Righto, let's lift him up. Now this one here is the top one, which is on our screw, is our ground connection. There we go. One plate is off. You tip him up. There's a little mica washer. Okay. Now we've got to straighten this fella out so that we can get the bottom plate out. Now this will probably be in the range of I don't know, 3 picofarad, 5 picofarad, something like that. And he's coming out. There we go. So there's our capacitor. And a little bit of rubbish in there, so I'm glad we pulled him apart. I don't need any problems, as I said. This is quite clean, but we'll clean it up with alcohol. And that's our top one. As you can see, he's curved, and as you push the screw in to screw them together, it pushes the centre of this fella down onto this one, separated by the little mica washer. Okay, let's get him cleaned up, get the whole thing cleaned up and back together. Righto guys, well we're just checking with the meter. Now, if we get a reading like that on there, that one, that means we've got a shorted cap, and we've done something to short the plates out. So hopefully, okay, we've got 7 picofarads there. If we loosen him off, yeah, about take our hang on a minute, not about 5 there. Okay. Now, if I can hold this in the right position, and if we screw him in, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 15, 16, 18, 22, 25, 30, 40, 50 picofarad, and that's down fairly tight there, 53. So if we loosen him off, back to in around 10, there we go. So that capacitor's fine. He's working lovely. All right. Now we do have a little tag here, which I'm going to replace, and yeah, just it's a bit hairy going to put on a ground point on this. This is me being really particular. Next thing we'll clean up. Let's do it. Let's get a bit of brasso onto the handle and polish him up, and that's got him mounted back in. Okay, that's our ground for the trimmer cap, and the other tag is there, which we'll solder on when we get him in there. Okay, so that's completely finished. So we'll get on to, I'm just going to do the handle now, and then we're getting on to the ferrite aerial. Now that's a little bit of a little bit involved. I've got to round up a couple of bits and pieces for that, some screws. So yeah, we'll attack that very shortly. Okay, that's it for the handle. Looks nice. Looks, yeah, nice and shiny. Now we're up to the rod antenna assembly. Now this had some foam strips along the inside of each panel. I'm going to use these again. There's nothing wrong with them. They're fine. We'll just put some fresh glue in along there and put them back in as they are. That's how they come out of this one. So I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, just glue them back in. There's no need for new pieces. And then we will start on this and trying to extend the leads, trying to do something else with it. Not sure what I'm going to do yet, but yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute. Right, now the next thing is the rod aerial. I'll put it back together, put our trim cap back in. Now I've rejoined some longer wires on this side. I didn't have any Litz wire. It's nice and pliable to work with and very good for aerial stuff like this. It's just that I didn't have any left, so I've just used very thin and flexible black, yellow, green, and blue, and I'll probably put a picture up of where these go onto. But basically, it's 2 coils. One is this coil here, one is this one here. So they come out as a pair via the a little choke, which is in here, and the trimmer cap. Now I've put some glue in here to hold everything in place. Going to let it set. So that will do us at the moment for the aerial until he sets. So the next job, okay, getting close now. So we'll have a closer inspection of this. I'll change all the caps and I'll come back. Now, something I have noticed that there's been a little bit of water in around here, in this area, near these trimmer caps. Now, underneath those, I don't know whether you can see that, but they are, yeah, there's a bit of rubbish in there. And I'd like to get that cleaned up. So I'm just going to drop those out, clean them, make sure they're right. Hopefully all the coils are okay. They would have taken water in, all of them. So it's just a matter of, well, the radio worked. So I think it's only it's only cap replacement. If not, well, we'll look at these down the track. But I'm pretty sure they're okay. We'll have a look at the base of the transistors as well while I'm doing this. All right, I'll start with removing these, cleaning them up, and doing the caps. I'll come back when all that's done. You've seen me change caps before. It's no big deal. But we might go through and measure them when we're finished and just see what's crook, what's not. Okay. Right, well, that's all the caps are replaced. One there, there, two there, and one there. So they're all done. Now, get onto these, take these out, and I'll give you a look underneath them when I get them out. I think they definitely need cleaning. Okay, now, these should lift off. Got them loose. There's only a contact at the back. Okay, here we go. Right. Yeah, probably not as bad as what I thought. But it'll be good to just get in there, give it a scrub, and clean up a little bit of corrosion around this area as well. Just get a toothbrush onto that and some alcohol and smarten that up a little bit. And yeah, there's a little bit of dirt in here, so probably did pay to do that. Not going to leave little things like that. Okay, let's clean these up. Righto, guys. That's it for the board. There's nothing more we've got to do with this thing except put it together. Now, the other thing that I haven't put together yet is the aerial. I'll just bring you in, have a bit of a look at it, and I'll show you what's going to happen there. And then we'll call it quits for this video because this will be part one. Part two will be putting this together and the alignment. So hopefully this will fire up okay when we're putting it back together. Otherwise, it's going to be a fairly long video. And yeah, we all get bored with long videos. Okay, so let's have a look at the aerial and I'll just see what's got to be done. Hopefully the glue's dried by now. And yeah, then we'll progress from there. And yes, the glue has dried. Everything's nice and neat in here. Now, everything checks out okay, so with this fella, there's not much to do except put him together. Now, this once this goes together, like so, it's all held together with little screws, as you saw come out. These little fellas. Now, I've got to find some of those. I haven't got any at the moment. Now, wires here, yes, they will stand a fair bit of flexing over the time. So I think these will be right. Yeah, I wouldn't rely on this sort of wire if it was going to be a new radio, but seeing that this may only be pulled in and out maybe 50 times in the rest of its life, that's not going to be a bother. So our aerial is basically ready to go. We've documented where the wires go. I'll find some screws, put this together, and then it's just a matter of getting some bits and pieces, and I've got bags. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look at what else there is. Okay, so it's got to all fit in this thing. This is right. This has just got to be painted yet. I haven't done it yet, but it will be done. And then probably the only other trick is on the front. We've got to find a speaker that fits in here, or a speaker adapter, and blank off our panel. So yeah, we'll have a look at that, but that'll be in the next video. And yeah, it's more or less putting all this together. So guys, I hope you're enjoying it so far. This has been a fairly long run. Oh, I better put a couple of other bits and pieces that's got to go on. There's things laying around here. So we'll round up all the bits and pieces and come back very soon and put it all together, and then we'll align it if it works. Okay, until next time, please give us a like if you like what I'm doing here with this old radio from a tip, from a wet tip landfill. If you like what I'm doing, hit the subscribe button. That really, really helps us keep going with these videos. And hit the bell so you'll be notified when the next one of these comes up. Okay, until next time, bye for now.